South America, going to be in Brazil, specifically Rio, doing Rock in Rio, and the day after Rock in Rio, I'm going to be doing a clinic. So you got to come out, check it out, we'll have a chat, I'll play a little guitar, scream my brains out, it'll be awesome. And the date is, thank you. And the date is the 30th. Okay, I'll see you then.
I wish my beer was as cold as your heart.
Hi. What's happening? Is it cold out there? It's cold up here. It's freezing. Is there kids here? Any kids? No kids? Okay, I can say that. It's fucking cold. Okay. I'm gonna warm up, okay? Because it's cold. Is it loud out there? No. Not that bad, right? All right. I think the vein is popping right here. Okay, so I'm Phil X.
Yeah.
I'm going to play guitar. I'm going to talk. I'm going to scream. I'm going to all kinds of. No, that's screaming right there, right? And you know, we'll do some Q&A, so you can ask me questions about anything, touring, being a session guy, being a side guy, being this guy, and being the guy who played Rock in Rio last night. 100,000 people, it's pretty amazing. With Bon Jovi. So I love Brazil. I think Brazilian audiences are like the best. Don't tell anyone I said that. Fans are really possessive. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna start with a little bit of, wait, how many, can we get some house lights so I can see some people here? I just wanted to ask some questions so I can know which way I'm going. Lights? Audience? Yeah, hey, can we keep it like this? This is way better. It's a theater. I mean, let's look at everybody. How many people actually play guitar? All right!
I like the last one was like 4 people out of 200. It was weird. You know, I start with a downstroke and then everybody goes, well, I'm gonna check my phone. So that's good. So if you have any questions, we also have a translator in case, this is Carl, my buddy over here, and he's the translator. So if anybody has a question in Portuguese, he will tell me. And hopefully not like last time, you'll tell the answer in Portuguese as well. And you better be funny. Okay, thanks. That happens all the time. Hey, we got you a translator, he's a guitar player. I'm going, no man, I need a translator that's a comedian. I want people to laugh. Okay, easy. Okay, so, I'm just gonna give a little history, and then I'll do some playing. I gotta get rid of that. I had been a session player in Los Angeles for many years, but when I started doing these videos on YouTube called for Freded Americana, that's when the right people see it, and then the right person calls that person and says, hey, we need somebody, and then before you know it, you're playing in front of 50,000 people with Bon Jovi. And it just, for me, I like to express the importance of when you put something up on YouTube, make sure it's great. Because there's too much shit on YouTube. And if you're a guy that's like doing the solo to Stairway to Heaven in your pajamas on the bed with the crotch shot and hey, check it out, I don't give a shit. Or somebody goes, hey man, check out this girl, she plays Eruption perfect and she's only 14. And I'm like, does she do backflips? Because that's what I want to see. I want to see something special, I want to see some personality, I want to see something really cool, and it turns out that so does everybody else. So I was doing these guitar demos, but because I was funny and singing Zeppelin and shit like that, it gave me a platform to get my name out into a situation. Now, I know you're thinking, is YouTube that important? Yes, it is. Because labels look at young artists and they go to their videos and see how many people, how many views they have. So it's important in that way. Another thing is that when you try out new material, you want to it's an easy forum to get on. Putting something on YouTube is easy, it's a piece of cake, everybody does it. But if you don't make it special, then it just gets lost in the shuffle. So, and that's an important factor I want to introduce, because basically I'm in Bon Jovi because I put up some cool videos, basically. I mean, another thing that's really important is, delivering, because if I would have walked on stage and sucked, they would have sent me home. So you got to be able to perform. That's the other thing. Is everybody following me so far? Yeah. Everybody's good? Yeah. Okay, awesome. I'm going to start with a little bit of technique for all the guitar players, and then whoever doesn't play guitar, if you want to ask me a question afterwards, we can talk about anything you want. So, I love that early on in my guitar playing life, I started, even when I was a kid, I just knew I couldn't be a copycat. I knew I had to develop my own style. So what I did is I came up with my own licks. And I think that's really important too, because there are too many people that just copy other people and, this cover of this and that and stuff. But I have a band called The Drills, and we put out a record, Volume 1, in May, and it's, there's a song on there called, what's it called, Phil? It's called Rock and Roll You All Night Long. Basically, because I wanted to have a title that had rock and roll in it, and I wanted to have a title that was something about all night long. So then I just put the two together and made Rock and Roll You All Night Long. I don't know, that's how my brain works. Anyways, the solo, the whole track is basically an homage, like a tip of my hat, a tribute to Van Halen, because I was a huge fan. And when we recorded it, Van Halen 1 was about 40 years old, so I thought I would honor it. So I wrote a song in the vein, it's like a ZZ Top, hyper steroid boogie. And basically I'm the One, by Van Halen. And I also wanted to do a solo section that had that that reminisce the hey, I'm in this key, and then I'm in this key, and then I'm in that key. And basically, I did that, but instead of playing Eddie licks, I played my licks. So I'll give you an idea of what my licks sounded like, and then I'll even describe the origin of the licks, because I think that's really important too. You know, like everybody has an influence. Everybody has somebody who inspired them, or a whole bunch of people that inspired them. So let's see if my phone works.
Almost.
Is it playing? No.
Battle record.
Just kidding. So I'm gonna break it down. Okay? Cool? Okay, so it starts in B. So it's kind of like that, you know. So basically, for me, I'm very pentatonic, and I'm very pentatonic with the flat 5. Just so everybody knows let's all be on the same page. This is pentatonic, and this is with the flat 5. That weird note, that's the flat 5. So it basically starts very bluesy, because I wanted it to just come out bluesy. So it's like, and then what I do is I take the pentatonic with the flat 5, and just if you change the order or the sequence of notes, you get something different. So I would start instead of starting on one note, I would start on what would be the second note, and then go backwards, and then go up 2, and then back 1, and then up 2, and then back 1. So it sounds like. So when I got further down, it was just not only including the flat 5, I got a little chromatic at the end. Like one more time. So that's when you get that, wow, it's just the same notes that everybody's playing, but we just changed the sequence a little bit and it sounds like a different lick. And that's another thing too, you want your licks to sound like licks, you don't want your licks to sound like exercises, right? They're like, yeah man, I told you that last week. And then to continue, yeah, that was in B, and then the solo changes to D. So I started doing this one lick, and this is what always happens for me. It always starts with one lick, and then you can either add to the lick, or it just stays a lick. But this was one lick that I added to, and then added to again. So it was kind of like a pull-off. There's a flat 5, I love it. Even landing on it is kind of weird, but when it goes by really fast, it just has a really interesting sound. And the next one is, what? I don't even know if that's right. So it's got this thing kind of going up. It's like a lick, and it's kind of like spider fingers. They're just kind of going up the neck. And I don't usually play like that, but it was a neat thing that I came up with, and I stuck it in there. And then again, it gets bluesy. So that's another kind of lick where you go and you're doing pentatonic, but you're changing the order of the sequence. that's, you know, your basic blues kind of stuff. And then the next part, I lose my mind because it's crazy. I call it like I don't even have a name for it. It's just, there's a chromatic element, but two notes beside each other, two notes that shouldn't be played together. Because this is a nicer interval. This is a nicer interval. This is a nicer interval. But this kind of sucks. So, but it happens 4 times in this lick, and I'll show you how I do it. It's weird playing slow. So, it starts pentatonic, but then it gets ugly. So, again, it sounds like two cats in a bag fighting, unless you play it in, you know, in a applied situation, as in. So, that lick that follows the cat lick, let's call it the cat lick. That, it goes like. So basically, I'm telling you, being completely transparent comes from, which is an Eddie Van Halen lick. But when I play it, it doesn't sound like that lick. Which is, some people say, hey man, you know, songwriters are like, you know, good songwriters borrow, great songwriters steal. I think that's fucking bullshit. I think it's how you disguise it. So I disguised the Eddie Van Halen lick so it wouldn't sound like Eddie Van Halen. And people went, man, that's a really cool lick. And I'm going, thank you very much. I'm not saying anything else. So it's that kind of thing. It's again, we all have inspiration, we all have influences, but it's taking them and making them your own. Even, you know, I always, when I used to teach, you know, I'd have a student that would take his homework home, and it would be my stuff, and he'd bring it back, and he'd be nailing my licks. And I'm like, great, but what are you gonna do with it? But there was another guy, and he'd take the homework home, and he'd come back, and he took my licks to another area and made them his. And that's what I try to make an important part of becoming a great guitar player. Your own style. So let's continue. I might have to do the solo again after, if you guys want to, once I break it down. Maybe? Yes? Okay. And then after that, so again, I go after the. That kind of thing. And you're thinking, what the hell is that? The funny thing is that came from when I was young and learning other guys' licks. I didn't know that Nuno Betancourt used a delay pedal in Flight of the Wounded Bumblebee. So he's going like, but with the delay in there, it sounds like that. So I'm thinking, I'm doing this lick, and I'm thinking, what's that? I go, I fucking stole it from Nuno Betancourt. No, he uses a delay pedal. And I'm like, oh. So, but instead of doing it like that, I went up. Again, taking from someone that you admire and making it your own. Right? And then the next lick is this, I have this kind of like Greek background. Not kind of, I do have a Greek background. I listened to Greek music growing up. And the Phrygian mode, minor harmonic, was very popular in a lot of the older tunes. So you'd have that diminished chord. You know, like when you're in an old black and white movie and there's the fair maiden tied to the track and the train is coming and it's... I think that's the music. I guess it builds tension. So I would go like... and at one point I was going... And then I added another note, which was a... which is basically just taking a blues lick and just moving it down every 4 frets. In this song, I ended up going the other way. So it goes... So that's that. So that's basically all the parts of the solo and basically where all the ideas came from over the years of how long I've been playing guitar. And then there's one last lick at the end that's like, I get a lot of what the hell was that? Which is, because I like that. I like watching guitar players and go, what the hell was that? So this is kind of like pentatonic. I'm going. But I thought I don't want to just go. So I'll add like a pinky note. Which sounds like a way cooler lick because it's got some substance and more and bigger intervals. So I'll do it one more time so you can see everything in action. Is that cool? Yeah. Come on, phone.